Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Let's Play Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers, where we will continue our quest line here by speaking to Alphanode, but that's a good looking painting, I got to say. And yeah, he did that with like one brush. So, I'm impressed. Anyhow, let's talk with him. Tis good to see you back. You were taking so long, I began to worry something had happened. I began sketching an outline for the portraits. But, nay, the Chais appears otherwise occupied. Will you share what your investigation have gleaned thus far? So, Lord Woffrey boasted some manner of influence over the Sin Eaters, does he? That would explain the reverence in which he is held by the citizenry. And for this ascension business, I cannot help but be put in mind of that apothecary and his ominous remarks. If so many folk have entered the city over the years, then where do they go? Alright. Huh. I take my eye off you for one moment and you're shattering away with that assistant of yours. Am I to assume the outline is done then? But what in the places? It's so unflattering. Explain yourself, Alphano. Where is your artistic interpretation? It should evoke images of influence and nobility, and overwhelm the viewer with its boundless beauty. Lord Chai, you stated that this portrait was to commemorate your anniversary, yours being a joyous union. It seemed to me that a realistic portrait... Realistic? I don't want realism. I want perfection. A spectacle to slacken jaws and weaken knees. To make people cry out in amazement. Now, fetch a blank canvas and... Screaming man. Arg. I say, did that come from above? Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. A tale to make your quiver and your noble blood freeze. There was a villain on the loose, set to ruin our fair city. But our Lord has got him now, and his fate will not be pretty. Yes, the hammer of justice is poised to come crashing down. And one and all who'd watch it fall are invited to join his lordship in the offer. A malcontent? How dreadful. And this man is to face sentencing? That's right, in fact. In fact, if you're curious, it might be worth you going along for the experience. The offer they mentioned is part of the emergent. The level above us where Lord Wolfrey resides. Ordinarily, you would be barred from entering, but it seems they'll be opening its doors for the next little while. The crown lift will take you up there. Okay. We have better not dawdle them. All right. This way? Joining the crowd up there? Yes, I do.
That's him. That's Vorthri. He's attended by sin eaters. But how does he keep them from attacking?
Mercy! Mercy!
By the 12. Kaishia, what happened to you?
Who are these impudent louts? I do not recall requesting their presence.
Lord Vorthri, what is the meaning of this? Why is this poor man bleeding to death on your floor?
Why? You ask me why? Because criminals must be punished. And this man is guilty of fraud. He came to us, claiming to be a man of business. Yet his subsequent conduct has shown him to be anything but. Yulmore is a city built on love for one's fellow man. Those who have naught to give and live only to take are a blight upon our society! To atone for this crime, I ordered that he fling himself from the balcony. And he had the temerity to weep. Please, my lord, anything but that. What then is a man of mercy to do, but offer the sinner another way to show his contrition?
Another way? Meaning what exactly?
Sin Eaters are part of Yulmore's society. but they must be fed with ether. Living ether. So, I demanded an offering of flesh, carved by his own hand, from his own hide. And still, he could not do as I asked. A wholly unsatisfactory performance.
'Tis true that Kaishir won his place here by fraud, but his actions were driven only by a desire to share in your paradise. That you would cast him out I could almost accept, but to humiliate him thus, to demand his very life? Is this truly the way of Yulmore?
Oh, you dim, deluded child. Have you ever paused to consider what it takes to maintain such a paradise in this barren, broken world of ours? The guarantee of safety and stability. The knowledge that if one only abides by the rules, one has naught to fear. I alone can offer these things, for I alone can command the Sin Eaters. And thus am I alone the voice of justice, and any who oppose me, villains to be punished.
And people call this paradise.
You were granted a place in my city for a particular skill. What was it?
Painting.
Oh, an artiste! Then you shall paint a picture for me of Yulmore. If I find your art pleasing, then I may excuse this display of insolence. Who gave you permission to tend to that criminal's wounds? I told you to paint me a picture!
What you need is a mirror, not a painting. It will capture the horror I see before me far better than I ever could. Can you walk? I think so.
Did that little worm just insult me? I'll kill them! I'll kill them all! I'll enslave their minds! I'll torment them! Torture them! Then tear out their hearts!
All right. Well, looks like we are outside again. Well, that was quite the display. Alright, let's see what Alphinaud wants. Forgive me. In my anger, I seem to have marched us back outside again. But it is probably best we leave the island altogether. I believe we've worn our welcome in Yulmore. In any case, I've seen enough of the world's self-proclaimed capital city to convince me that our battle against the Sin Eaters will find few allies in Pelusia. I will accompany you back to the Crystarium. We need to regroup and think on our strategy anew. Kaishir, I have done you a grave disservice. You were hungry and desperate, and I offered you a solution without once considering the risk inherent in your accepting it. If I had but known the price you would be made to pay. You gave me everything I needed to make your idea work. It was me who made a mess of things, not you. But even after all the trouble I caused, you still stepped in and saved me. And now Lord Woffrey wants us all dead. Why not come back with us to the Crystarium? I am certain we can find work for you there, if you are willing. No. That would just be me leaning on your kindness again. I need to do some thinking. Learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. Very well. But you must promise you'll be careful. The Yulmorans may yet come looking for us. I'll keep my head down, don't worry. And you take care too. Give me the chance to repay what you've done for me. Alphanode. Lord and Lady Shy. What in the blazes did you do? They have the entire city looking for you. I took a peek at your unfinished portrait, Alphanode. Now I've had many beautiful and striking pictures painted for me, but there was something about your work. It was as if you had caught the very essence of our love and rendered it naked upon the canvas. It was bold, unflinching, and I adore it. Please, you must come back with us and finish that you began. I will speak with Lord Woffrey and vouch for your character. I'm sure we can smooth over any hard feelings. I'm sorry, Lady Shy. There are more important matters to which I must attend. More important? What could be more important than enjoying the days we have left to us to the fullest? Pray, press me no further. We are leaving, but I would not presume to take the garments you were so kind to procure for me. One moment. I wouldn't hear of it. Keep the clothes, you silly boy. I insist. And I shall make arrangements so that you can pass through the gate without causing a stir. I expect you to come and visit. I will return, I promise you that. The outrage I witnessed must not go unanswered. Wow. Sometimes English is hard. The next time we meet, I shall be better prepared to confront the corruption which hides behind the glittering facade. Alright, so, yes, we are heading back to the Crystarium. And, yeah. Wow. This water is swimming really fast. Huh. Oh, come on. Yeah, yeah, so, in this expansion there is actually a lot of back and forth between the different zones. You basically go to every single one of them at least twice. Thank you, my friend, for staying at my side through this whole sordid endeavor. While it's not quite the joyous outcome I had hoped for, our efforts have nevertheless answered a great many questions. Suffice it to say, our plans for saving the first are unlikely to involve the aid of Lord Wolfrey and his subjects. Come, we must speak with the XIV and chart a new course. This is far from over. Alright, and here we are. So, before we continue, where is it? Wait, have those quests not been unlocked yet? I think it's over here by the music or something. We need to go. Nope. It actually hasn't been unlocked yet. Huh, interesting. Alright, well, if that's the case, let's head back up here. And here we are. Yeah, it's the same question as last time. Ah, it is good to be back amongst friends. Not to mention my dear sister. I have not seen her for some time, but I gather she is as keen to press on with our plans as I am. And you've seen quite a lot of the first yourself now. More than enough to appreciate the scale of the obstacles we face. Let us lay our discoveries before the XIV and discuss what must be done.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin-Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin-Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist. Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Light Warden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
I have a feeling Yulmor might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin-Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Are you sure that eliminating the Wardens will be enough?
Your uncertainty is understandable given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then. In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed. At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Light Wardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Norvrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Light Warden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Hallminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
All right. Well, oh, let's talk to him. Start with. Old Minister, Switch is in the northern of Lakeland. We had best make haste without preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crystarium at the crossroads, northwest of the Ancestor's Gate, and I shall lead you there myself. All right. This place is very pink. All set. If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly now. Quickly now, he says, and uh, 438 yards. That's not too bad. West. There it is. one is very far off in that direction, but we will get to that later on in the game. Alright, so we are at the 40-minute mark, so in the next episode, well, we will continue and defend this village that we are heading to. So I will just move up here to the gates. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please hit the like button. And of course, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. And yeah, if you enjoy my content, then yeah, why don't you hit the subscribe button together with the notification bell. You don't miss out on any of my new content. I will be back again tomorrow, and until then, stay safe out there.